I still don't know if I should be telling you this. Some part of me thinks that by putting it into words, I'm making it real again. But I need someone to know what happened on Millbrook Drive last Tuesday night, because nobody believes me. And the people who were there, the ones who might have confirmed what I saw, they're not around to say anything anymore. My name is Daniel. I'm 31 years old. I live alone in a 2-bedroom house in a suburb outside Columbus, Ohio. It's the kind of neighborhood where everyone knows each other's dogs by name, where people wave from their driveways, where nothing ever happens. That was before 3:17 a.m. I had insomnia that night, not unusual for me. I was lying in bed, scrolling through nothing. That mindless late-night habit where you're not really reading anything, just letting the light keep your eyes open so you don't have to be alone with your own thoughts. My room was dark, except for the glow of my phone. Outside, the street was completely still. I remember noticing the silence. No cars, no wind, not even crickets. Just this heavy, waiting quiet that I told myself meant nothing. Then my phone screamed. That sound, you know the sound. That sharp, jarring emergency alert tone that cuts through everything. My heart jumped into my throat. I nearly dropped the phone. The screen flooded with that harsh amber color. The color that means pay attention. The color that means something is wrong. I looked at the alert. It read, "Do not look outside at 3:33 a.m. That was it. No agency name at the top. No FEMA. No National Weather Service. No local authority. No explanation of what would happen. No instructions except that one sentence. And the timestamp on my phone read 3:17 a.m., 16 minutes. I sat up in bed and stared at it. My first thought was that it was a glitch, a test signal that had misfired, something technical that would be explained by morning with an embarrassed press release. I screenshot it. Then I did what anyone would do. I texted my buddy Marcus, who lives 4 houses down. "Did you get that emergency alert?" I checked Facebook. Nobody was posting about it. I opened Twitter. Nothing. I Googled Columbus, Ohio emergency alert and found nothing from the last hour. Just old results. Marcus replied at 3:21 a.m. "What alert? My phone's been quiet all night. You good?" I called my sister in Westerville. I woke her up. She was annoyed, groggy, confused. Her phone had made no sound. No alert. Nothing. I was the only one. I told myself it was a mistake. Some kind of spoofed message, maybe. Kids with the wrong equipment or a system error. I put my phone face down on the nightstand and lay back and looked at the ceiling. I would not look outside at 3:33. Not because I believed anything would happen, but because the message had rattled me more than I wanted to admit. And the simplest way to prove it meant nothing was to just not look. But at 3:29, I heard the first sound. It was low, almost beneath hearing, more of a vibration in my chest than an actual noise, like something very large had exhaled somewhere nearby. It lasted about 4 seconds and then stopped. My dog, Clover, lifted her head from the foot of the bed. Her ears went flat. She did not make a sound. She just stared toward the window. I watched her. At 3:31, I heard the Henderson's dog, a big golden retriever named Biscuit, who slept on their back porch, begin to howl. Not the short, territorial bark of a dog responding to a passing car. A long, broken, miserable howl, like an animal in real pain. Then silence. Then nothing from Biscuit ever again. At 3:32, the streetlights on Millbrook Drive went out. Not a flicker, not a gradual dimming. They simply stopped existing. All of them, simultaneously, plunging the street into a darkness I hadn't seen in years. The kind of dark that feels solid, like it has weight. 3:33 a.m. I looked outside. I know I shouldn't have. But you have to understand what it's like to sit in the dark with 16 minutes of dread built up inside you, and then have the world outside your window go completely, unnaturally silent. Curiosity isn't the right word for what pulled me to that window. It was something older than curiosity, something animal. I pulled back the curtain and looked out at Millbrook Drive. At first, I thought the street was empty. Just the dark asphalt and the dead streetlights and the pale shapes of parked cars. Then I saw them. There were figures standing in the street. I counted 7 before my brain stopped working properly. They were tall, wrong tall, the way something is wrong when your eyes can't quite process what they're seeing. And they were completely still. No movement, no swaying. Just standing there in the dead center of Millbrook Drive, evenly spaced, facing the houses.
I couldn't make out faces. The darkness was too deep and they were too far, but I could feel. And I know how that sounds, I know. I could feel that they were looking at me. I let the curtain fall. I stood in the dark with my back against the wall and my heart doing something violent inside my chest, and I thought, call 911. I picked up my phone. No signal, no bars. I was on Wi-Fi, so I tried to call through an app. The call connected, rang once, and then produced a sound that I cannot adequately describe. Not static, not a tone. Something rhythmic and wet, like breathing, that lasted 3 seconds before the call dropped. I tried to text Marcus. The message sat on sending for 4 minutes and never went through. I moved to the hallway, away from the windows, and waited. Clover had crawled under the bed. She hadn't made a single sound since the alert. At some point after 4 a.m., I must have fallen asleep sitting against the hallway wall, because I woke up to grey morning light coming through the bathroom door. My neck ached. My phone was dead. I plugged it in with shaking hands, and the first thing I did when it powered on was look outside. Millbrook Drive was empty. Streetlights were on. Birds were starting to move in the trees. But the Hendersons' front door was open. Wide open. The way a door is open when someone left in a hurry or was taken without the chance to close it behind them. Their car was still in the driveway. I went outside. I knocked on their door. No answer. I called their names into the dark front hallway. Nothing. I could see their half-eaten dinner still on the kitchen table from where I stood on the porch. I went to Marcus's house. Knocked. No answer. His truck was there. His lights were off. I tried the Okafor family at the end of the block. The Patels. Old Mr. Denning in the corner house. Door after door, no answer. Cars in driveways, lights off. One house had a television still playing, the blue flicker visible through the front window. But no one came to the door, no matter how hard I knocked. I was the only person left on Millbrook Drive. The police came eventually, after I drove to the next street over and flagged someone down. The officers were professional, calm, thorough in the way that people are when they think you're not well. They checked all the houses. They found no signs of forced entry, no signs of struggle. They found dinners half-eaten, televisions left on, a shower that someone had left running in the Hendersons' upstairs bathroom, the water long gone cold. They found Biscuit, the Hendersons' dog, in the backyard. I won't describe what they found. The neighbors' disappearances made local news for about 2 weeks. 11 people from Millbrook Drive gone without explanation between midnight and dawn on a Tuesday in October. No bodies recovered, no suspects, no leads. The working theory is a gas leak causing mass disorientation, which might explain a lot, but doesn't explain the figures I saw standing in the street at 3:33 a.m. And it doesn't explain why I received an emergency alert that no system claims to have sent. And it doesn't explain why I'm the only one who stayed. Because I've thought about that a lot since then. Why did the alert come to me? Why was I warned while no one else was? And the only answer I keep coming back to, the one that makes the most sense, even though I desperately don't want it to, is that I wasn't warned. I was marked. Whatever came to Millbrook Drive that night, it knew who I was. It knew my phone. It sent me that message not to protect me, but to tell me to watch. To make sure I was looking at 3:33, so that it could confirm I was there. So that I could be seen. And something found on my phone last week, buried in the logs in a file I didn't create, has convinced me that I'm right. A draft message, stored but never sent, timestamped 3:33 a.m., addressed to a number I've never seen before. It says, confirmed. 1 remaining. Resume collection at next cycle. I've moved out of the house. I don't sleep well anywhere. I check my phone every night between 3 and 4 a.m., hands shaking, praying that Amber's screen stays dark. So far, it has. So far.